Hello, and welcome to the Rough Edges podcast with Sarah I. Fox. In this podcast, I will guide you through my faith and mental health journey to dispel the stigma surrounding mental illness and to create an empowering resource for those who wish to discover more about these topics. I pray that this podcast will not only bless you, but that it will bring growth and healing to our communities. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Rough Edges. Today, I am joined by very special guest, someone who I hold near and dear to my heart, Miss Allie Loyns. I am so excited to have Allie on to kind of discuss a topic that's very important, especially in light of World Suicide Prevention Month. And so, Allie, before we dive right into our topic, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your writing and just your advocacy as a whole?
Yeah, so I actually did my very first podcast episode with Sarah on this show back in October of 2023. And it was such an exhilarating experience. We gabbed so well, we jived, and I said, we've got to do another one. So here I am, my second appearance. My name is Allie Loyns. I will be a very soon 24-year-old self-published poet from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I'm also an avid borderline personality disorder advocate. I write to break stigma and bring a lived, real, raw perspective to borderline, because I'm here to say that we can heal, we can thrive, and it ain't no death sentence.
Right.
So that's why I'm here today, and we're going to talk about some of my poetry, what the poetry means to me, how it's helped me get past my own suicide issues, suicidality, and I'm just ready to dive into this topic.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Allie. And yes, Allie and I have done an episode before and it was so good. We just had to do another one. And I'm so excited not only to get to talk to Allie again, but to talk about the topic of suicide prevention and also just really having the reasons why people can stay and want to be able to live and also heal through a lot of this. And so I saw on Instagram, Allie, you posted a beautiful poem of yours called 24 Reasons to Stay. And so could you share just the story behind that poem? And also could you recite it for us?
Yes. So as I mentioned, I will be a soon 24-year-old self-published poet. I self-published my first collection of poetry, A Generation of Sunflowers, in February of 2021. I then came out with my second collection, Bloom, in June of 2023. Shout out to the Indie Verse Awards, because that book is nominated for the best poetry book and the perfect poem. Voting opens in November. So Sarah, you're going to plug that.
Yes.
So this piece, 24 Reasons to Stay. I'm in the midst of writing my third and final collection to kind of roll out the Florals trilogy. So we've got A Generation of Sunflowers, Bloom, Flourish. Flourish coming out in 2025. So I'm obviously actively in the process of writing and figuring out, okay, what does this book mean to me? How are we going to end the Florals trilogy on a high note, but also a serious, real, raw note? So this book, this collection will be very different in the sense that this year, I remember January 1st saying to my therapist and to my grandma, you guys, there's more work that needs to be done and I need to go back to the drawing board. And here I am ready to rip off some Band-Aids. Band-Aids that have been super glued to me for a very, very long time, 20 years type thing. And I just said it's time. So I'm kind of in a, bear with me, ambiguous healing phase of my life. So Flourish will really be talking about the ambiguity of healing, because I am not healing from one thing. I'm healing from vicarious and long stretched trauma that has gone through my whole life. So yes, that's what this collection is about. So I had 50 pieces in my second collection, Bloom. I'm going to have 50 pieces in my third collection, Flourish. And so I said to myself, okay, I've got to write my reasons to stay in this book, because in Bloom, I wrote 22 reasons to stay, and I was 22 at the time. As I said, I'll be 24 very soon in November. I needed to come up with the 24 reasons that kept me here this year. And I did 23. I did it for 22. Obviously, it's in Bloom. And with Flourish coming out next year, I figured it was very appropriate to put this in the book. So I wrote this piece, and why did I do it? I think us as people, we know our reasons why, but writing them on a piece of paper gives them a voice. It makes them real. It makes them tangible. And that's what I decided to do with this list. I compared looking at the 22 reasons from Bloom and the 24 coming from Flourish, and I looked at the differences, and wow, this list has intrinsic and extrinsic things. The list really mainly had extrinsic things that were my reasons to stay. So you can really just see the growth in me as a person from 22 to 24. So yeah, I have these 24 reasons to stay. I performed this piece for the very first time. This is the very first piece from Flourish that anyone has heard, seen, etc. So I was a performer at Botany in Motion. This was August 29th here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. It was at the St. Norbert Arts Center, and I actually performed last year, spoken word. It was my debut at this festival. So I said, well, heck yes, I have to come back, and I need to recite some poetry. And also, let's show them I can sing, too. So your girl did do some singing as well, but I pulled out this piece, and it really touched a lot of people. It touched a lot of people on Instagram. I just posted it because I figured, well, this is something that poets would enjoy. Anyone and everyone is enjoying it. I didn't actually realize, and this is my bad, being an advocate, I should know these things, but I didn't know it was Suicide Prevention Month. I did not know that until I think you told me, and I started seeing stuff on Instagram, and I said, wow, that's a parallel.
Yes.
Okay, God made that happen. God made that happen 100%. So if it's all right with you, I would like to read my 24 reasons.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to recite 24 reasons. It is my 24 reasons of being here this year, the things that have kept me here, grounded, safe, stable, and most of all, so this is 24 reasons to stay from Flourish.
Hello again. Before you dive into the rest of today's episode, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your support and for hitting that play button. If you want to expand on that support, here are 3 ways that you can do so. 1. Leave a review. If anything in today's episode resonated with you, or you want to share how the podcast changed your life, you can do so by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. 2. Check out our shop. The Rough Edges shop is a faith-based, women of color owned online shop where you can get a variety of products from tote bags, journals, t-shirts, crew necks, and more. 20% of the proceeds go to a mental health organization. So check it out at roughedgespodcast.com/shop. 3. Connect on social media. Rough Edges is on a variety of social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and more. If you want to connect outside of listening to the podcast episodes, you can do so on those platforms. If you have any more questions or want more information on the ways that I've just discussed, you can check out the episode description or stay to the end for more information. Now, enjoy your episode.
24 reasons to stay. 1. To leave a legacy. 2. Orange, pinky sunsets. 3. Bloom. 4. Destigmatizing borderline personality disorder. 5. My stability. 6. My Nana. 7. Warm morning coffee. 8. Lucid conversation with Grandpa. 9. Epiphanies. And 10. The ability to breathe freely. Number 11. Melanie Martinez. 12. To break generational cycles. 13. The heart of a cinnamon bun. 14. Soul grasping melodies. 15. Advocacy. 16. Autumn's beauty and breeze. 17. For every friend that has held my hand in times of triumph and toil. You know who you are. 18. The delectable taste of the richest foods. 19. To spite my abusers. 20. To be a siren change. 21, the alchemy of my darkness. 22, flourish. 23, for 7-year-old Allie. And 24, it is my birthright. 24 reasons to stay.
Woo! I don't know about y'all, but I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps over here.
My
I love
little
it.
7-year-old is so excited when I'm reading that. She's like, and me, we're amalgamated within each other now. I feel safe to be within adult you.
That was powerful.
Thank
That
you.
was very powerful. And I love, especially, just like, it doesn't have to be like a huge or significant thing. Like you said, the inside of a cinnamon bun. Like, bro, that is actually so good. And it's like, although it's a small reason, or what we would think of as small, it holds a lot of weight in terms of like reasons to be alive and to enjoy life.
The smallest things. Just the smallest things. I mean, of course, I'm poetic, so I'll put it, I might speak differently than a layman. And what I mean by that is, I'll say soul grasping melodies. Well, that's music.
Yes.
It's going to make it all poetic and nice. But yeah, I challenge anybody who listens to this, and to anyone I have spoken to about this piece, I have challenged them to write their reasons. It doesn't necessarily have to be 24. It can be your age. And, someone that's 30 might say, holy moly, how do I go ahead and write 30? Don't write 30. You write what speaks to you. Your
Right.
reasons will come out, and when it naturally comes to a lull, you've identified your reasons. So let me tell you something kind of cool and a little bit motivational. I have a buddy of mine here in Winnipeg. He also lives with borderline. He's done extensive treatment. He writes poetry as well as an artist through and through. We really are cut from the same cloth. Good brother of mine. Anyhow, he was just moved by this piece, just like so many other people were. And I said, bro, I challenge you to write yours. I had forgotten how old he was at the time, but he's 40. And I said, well, write your reasons. However old you are, I'm forgetting. Write your list. He says, take that challenge. I'll take it. The next day, I get a voice memo, 4.5 minutes long, 40 reasons to stay.
Wow.
I moved my friend to sit down, be alone with his thoughts, with his void, with his heart, the good and the bad, to list out his reasons. And they're powerful. It's as simple as video games to, one of his reasons being video games, to another reason being, I'm doing this for the friends who are not living right now.
And
just simple and an everyday thing versus something so deep, So I inspired my buddy, and I said, I'm going to start telling people they really should write their reasons, because it's an introspective thing to do. I think everyone should do it, be it in Suicide Prevention Month or any month of the year. I do it around my birthday. 22 reasons to stay, 22. So from Bloom, I wrote that on my 22nd birthday.
Wow.
I had to write a birthday piece. I didn't want to write some usual, 24 years around the sun garbage. You know what? Poetry can be whatever the hell you want it to be. And for me, sometimes it's a list. It's a list of things. And those are the simplest, sometimes the most powerful. Hence 24 reasons, right?
Right.
It's come across really, really well. People are resonating with it. And people are moved by it. And maybe they even identify with some of my reasons. And people don't have to, but I think a lot of us are connected by a lot of the same things, and we don't even realize.
I definitely agree. And you actually inspired me to write a list and like reasons to stay. I did 25 because your girl's getting up there in her age.
Yeah, I know you're fine.
But if you wouldn't mind like me sharing, like,
I would love to hear your 25 reasons to stay, Sarah.
Okay, so it's an actual list.
That's okay. You don't need to perform it. You just read.
Right. Okay. So 25 reasons to stay. 1, my relationship with Jesus. 2, my mom, sister, and grandma. 3, my baby boy Felix. I put him in his own category because he's my baby. 4, my journey to stability in my mental health. 5, the opportunity to help justice-involved individuals. 6, experiencing joy and laughter. 7, ocean views. 8, sunflowers. 9, witnessing cherry blossoms bloom. 10, good music. 11, singing my favorite songs to the top of my lungs. 12, good movies that I can rewatch over and over again. 13, sunsets. 14, pumpkin spice lattes. 15, warm blankets. 16, getting to enjoy all things purple, which is the color royalty and my favorite color.
Yes.
17, the refreshing taste of a cold glass of water.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's what's at.
18, hugs from the people I love. 19, writing and performing poetry.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
I knew you would love that one.
No,
20, having great conversations with amazing people on rough edges, including yourself. 21, uplifting others by sharing my story. 22, the opportunity to break harmful behavioral patterns and heal generational trauma.
yes.
Yes. 23, being young and having ambitions for my future. 24, the blessing of sharing hope to others as Christ did. And 25, the anticipation of another birthday.
Poetry snaps. Oh, that was killer, girl.
Thank you. Thank you.
As I mentioned, a lot of people probably share an overlap, and I think we probably overlapped on at least 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Soft blankets and Rosie, my kitty, didn't make it to 24 reasons because they're already archived in the pages for 22 reasons. And those reasons still stand. Of course,
Yeah.
right? But
Right.
yeah, I love that you put baby boy Felix, the little guy in there. That's very important. Trying to think, what you didn't write down was my relationship with God. I really didn't touch on that in here. And I figured, was I missing something? Was there a reason I didn't put it in? But I'll tell you, I actually am taking a poetry course I started 2 or 3 weeks ago. It goes for 2 hours every Tuesday. And it's writing through and about serious illness. For those who don't know, I am a caregiver for both grandparents, and obviously serious illness is tied right into that. So one of the prompts we were given was write to a healer, a doctor, someone with higher power of healing than you. Write what you need or want right now. What do you need? And at first I wanted to write to not that I believe in these, but some natural medicine healer, doctor, I don't know, some magic man out in a hut doing alternative. Honestly, that's what I thought of at first.
Right.
Kind of morphed. And I came out with this beautiful piece that I do think will make it into Flourish. So these listeners are getting 2 pieces. The other
Yes.
life only got 24 reasons. So if you would allow me, I would like to read a piece that I wrote called A Prayer.
Yes, of course.
So this is something I just wrote. This is not edited at all. But I'm going to read it because I just feel that it goes along with my 24 reasons. So this is prayer. I am but a lost, anguished soul, waiting on the doorstep of your healing hand. Cleanse my splintered soul of jagged trauma and tenebrosity. Repurify my once blissful, innocent soul, dear Lord. Restore me.
Wow. Wow.
So, and I felt it was very important to share that with you because really I'm baptized, I'm Christian, but within the past year, especially since having connected with Christian Mental Health Initiative, I really leaned into my faith and what it means to me and how I didn't just get here because of me. I'm here because of God and my protective factors like my cat, my poetry, my grandma, but God.
Yeah.
And I guess I've really just been feeling it even more so past year, as I said, but I would say even in the past few months with the updates I've got regarding my grandma's health, I have needed to look to something for faith and for hope. And God has given me. I'm God's child through and through.
Yes.
I'm writing about that in Flourish. A lot of people actually were surprised when I came out at Botany in Motion, the festival where I performed 24 Reasons. I sang a song called Ruse, I'm Tired. and it's proclaiming to the Lord that you're trying and you want to stay. And you don't know how you're going to find the stability, but you're going to do your best and you want to be here. People were so shocked when I sang that because they're like, "You're spiritual? You're religious?" I was like, I mean, yeah, I'm spiritual. I guess, yes, I'm religious. I'm Christian. I don't proclaim it. I don't walk around with my Bible or anything like that. I might not even live the way that Jesus would want me to live, but I am God's child through and through. And I stand with that wholeheartedly. And I think it's okay to talk about that because it's part of my story. I remember Grandma tells me often, she says, "Allie, do you remember when you were 4 or 5 years old? We went to the MTS Center. It's the big concert hall in Winnipeg. Someone was speaking, some motivational speaker having to do with God and Jesus. I don't remember the exact parameters, but he said, anybody in this room that wants to come down to the stage and give your heart to the Lord right now, come down. This is your one chance."
Wow.
So I said to my Nana at 4 or 5, "Go down, can we go down?" And she said, "Well, we need to ask your dad first, but yeah." And so the message to my dad was good. So I went down to that stage and gave my heart to the Lord at 4 or 5 years of age. And here I am at 24. So it's no coincidence that I'm here today doing my thing.
Wow. That is like so inspiring. And also I could definitely resonate with you, especially with like how faith can give us the hope that we need to be able to ground us. And we don't have to go around like, advertising openly like, "Hi, I'm a Christian, everybody." Like, but it's that our life speaks for itself and that, the love and the care that we show to others is a testament to how Christ loved not only the church, but everybody like that he came across. And so, yeah, I'm so happy that, you were able to find that, like common ground between like your mental health and your faith and just like how it gave you hope, like in the midst of everything.
Yeah, poetry course. It was this past Tuesday, and I'm not going to share the other piece because it'll probably end up in Flourish as well.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I wrote 2 pieces, and they were really around God. And I wrote them. I went to my Nana's bedroom, and I said, "I don't know where this came from. I don't know where this came from." And she looks at me and says, "That's where it came from. Feeling it for." So it just came out of nowhere. My void needed to say it because my void is, I've spoke about this on other podcasts. My poetry is my void speaking. It's not necessarily a joyous, happy narrative or activity for me. It is a processing activity for me. And I am processing that she needs Jesus. So that's kind of that. That's 24 Reasons to Stay from Flourish and a prayer from Flourish. The words might not be the same in that poem in a prayer once it gets published, but that's the rough draft thus far.
Wow. I am so excited to read Flourish when it comes out. And I do also want to ask, like, what words of encouragement or advice do you have for somebody who is struggling to find a reason to stay?
I was going to say sit down and think about it and write your reasons. But if someone's having a difficult time, sit down and journal. Write it out. Write it out. You know these things because you're thinking it and feeling it, but put it on the paper, bring it to fruition, make it a tangible thing and give it a voice.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I can say.
Yeah.
I mean, if I pull from personal experience, there were times where I probably felt as if I had no reasons. I did. I obviously had reasons. Didn't think I did, but I did. And I sat down and I started writing poetry at 14 and boom, number 1, poetry. And from there, it just kept building. God, grandma, soft blankets, good food, the cat, girlfriends, So I would just say, start with journaling. Journal your feelings, record your feelings, because through there, you might be able to read your entries and pull something out.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Even just one reason is victorious. One reason. Just one. It doesn't have to be 24. Hell, I'm at a place where I'm stable. I can come up with 24. I can come up with probably 40 at this point, right? There was a time where I really couldn't come up with one. But when I got one, I felt like, I got this. I got this. I'm going to be good. I will be fine. As long as I've got one and I put my best foot forward and give her. be okay.
I love that. Like, even if you just have one reason, because I agree with you. Like, right now, I'm in a place of like, semi stability, I would say,
Well,
working on it. But sometimes it's hard to come up with like a reason to actually stay. And that's how you get into the suicidal ideation. But like you said, if you could find one reason, that's more than enough because you have a reason
yeah,
and you can stay.
it could be anything. It can be getting up to feed my dog,
Yeah.
living for my pet. Something as simple as that. I mean, maybe some people don't think it's simple, but just something like that. One thing matters. All you need is one thing to keep you here. And for the people listening that don't necessarily have a reason yet, I'm telling you that Sarah and Allie are vouching for you. We care about you, and that you will find your reason. You will find your reason. Just listening to this podcast and hearing this could be a reason.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Allie, I want to thank you so, so much for sharing your words of wisdom and also your beautiful poetry. Like, where can people find you if they want to learn more about you?
So let's say you want to follow my writing journey, my BPD journey, my advocacy, just my everyday life. Instagram, Allie_author, exactly how it sounds. If you're interested in, I want to buy that poetry collection. She's kind of a good writer and I want to support a local or a self-published Canadian author. You go to Etsy. Gen of Sunflowers is the store. The title of the book, A Generation of Sunflowers in Bloom. So I'm assuming the listeners are in the US, go to Etsy. If you're in Canada, definitely check out indigo.ca because your girl's on indigo.ca. But that's where you can find me for now. And hopefully I'm trying to make myself accessible worldwide, internationally. It's taken some time, but sooner rather than later, I will be in a bookstore near you.
Yes, and I co-sign that. She will be. It will happen. Well, thank you so much again, Allie, for talking with me and for blessing my listeners with your work and also your words of encouragement. And everybody, stay tuned for more empowering episodes on Rough Edges. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rough Edges podcast with Sarah I. Fox. If you want more updates on the podcast, you can follow on Instagram at rough.edges.podcast, or you can visit the official podcast website at roughedgespodcast.com. Thanks again for listening and have a wonderful day.